following announcement has been paid for by the New World Order.
Guess who's back? Back again. Shady's back. Tell a friend. Guess who's back? 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 This looks like a job for me, so everybody just follow me, 'cause we need a little controversy, 'cause it feels so empty without me. I said this looks like a job for me, so everybody just follow me, 'cause we need a little controversy, 'cause it feels so empty without me.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. You are listening to the most electrifying podcast in all of sports radio today. You are listening to the Sportswire, live right here on Black Lion Entertainment and Sports Network, www.spreaker.com/user/BLESN, as well as www.spreaker.com/show/Sportswire. We are live. Today is April 8th, 2016. It is a Friday morning, and we've got a lot going on. I've got a lot to talk about today. First of all, let's give our first fruits to God. Let's go up to God in prayer. Father God, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for just allowing me to make better decisions, Lord. I want to thank you for your wisdom coming to me overnight and what to do with the rest of my life and going forward. I want to thank you for this podcast. I want to thank you for this opportunity to talk and just get things out in the open. And Father, I definitely want to keep praying for Desiree and I and our relationship to keep growing stronger, and also for us to keep going closer. And Lord, I pray that you are blessing us. I pray for my son. I pray for her daughter, that when we do, when we're able to fully do stuff as a family, that, we're able to do things wisely, Father. I want to thank you for the opportunity to live in the household I am, and thank you for the roof over my head. Father, I thank you for just absolutely everything you do for me on a daily basis. I thank you, and I ask all this through your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen. All right, so now that we've given our first fruits to God, we've got a lot to talk about today, and also, before we get into anything else, let's get to our worship song of the day. That is, it's going to be worship hip-hop. It's going to be Bizzle with Better Way, right here on the Sportswire. Come on, mouse, you can do it.
Yo, whatever happened to that dream that God put in us? Before the world told you what you wanted to be and what you needed to do to be successful.
Cornbread.
Before you saw somebody else do it and said, you know what, I need money, I'ma do that. Before you knew what money was. And what did you want to be? And why'd you let it go? Come on.
If you're getting sick of running and tired of the hustling, go for it. I tell them go for it. You got a dream that you're chasing. Well, I think you can make it. You should go for it. I tell them go for it. Follow your dream and leave the game, please. Don't be ashamed. Anyone can change. Oh, there's a better way. There's a better way, shorty. There's a better way.
Yeah.
There's a better way.
This dedicated to the hustler that's sick of hustling. But won't nobody in the circle tell him give it up then. Get a new group that wanna see you shoot for the stars and 2 moons. Let them follow what you do. Hustling wasn't the plan, I know. Mother was struggling, Pops wasn't the man, I know. But even though your father was not home, he left but he's not gone. You still got a father seated on the most high throne. When you was younger you had a dream, I know it. Selling trees of dope was just supposed to be for the moment. Keeping it going wasn't even a notion. If you believe what you hoping can be, but to be it it needs your devotion. Media got us aiming to be American gangsters. Failing to tell us ain't no happy ending for gangsters. They dead or in jail but it's never too late for change. You can be the one to pave the way if you ain't afraid.
Getting sick of running and tired of the hustling. Go for it, I tell them go for it.
Let's
you got
go.
a dream that you're chasing, well I think you can make it, you should go for it. I tell them go for it, follow your dream and leave the game, please don't be ashamed. Anyone can change. Oh, there's a better way. There's a better way.
You got options.
There's a better way.
This for that chick in the strip club, tired of stripping. But her love for the money tells her not to quit it. Before she hit the stage, she swallowing shots of liquor. All cause somebody convinced her there wasn't no promise in her. She never saw a queen when looking inside a mirror. In search of encouragement, nobody would stop and give her. Night she cries rivers and wonders if God forgives her. Pop's not in the picture, but gotta be a father figure. You a mold in your body, life is more than paper. I know it's something other than money that motivates you. Like what about your dreams, little mama? Cause I know this ain't what you wanted to be, little mama. But your sin has created you a lifestyle that you can't afford if you quit, so you tied down. You can be free, but it may take you giving the devil back everything he ever gave you.
You're getting sick of running and tired of the hustling. Go for it, I tell them go for it. You got a dream that you're chasing, well I think you can make it, you should go for it. I tell them go for it, follow your dream and leave the game, please don't be ashamed. Anyone can change. Oh, there's a better way. There's a better way, shawty. There's a better way. There's a better way.
You know you get the feeling like you don't have an option, but that's just a lie they say. Cause I was on that same road, I was on this payroll, lost in the same old thing. Know that it's a better way that ain't as easy. Place your faith in the Lord, you can't believe me. I'm just telling you what I know, God is who I follow. Forget about your past, let him change your tomorrow.
If you're getting sick of running and tired of the hustling, go for it, I tell them go for it. You got a dream that you're chasing, well I think you can make it, you should go for it. I tell them go for it, follow your dream and leave the game, please don't be ashamed. Anyone can change. Oh, there's a better way. There's a better way, shawty. There's a better way. There's a better way.
All right, and that was Dizzle with Better Way right here on the Sportswire here on Black Lion Entertainment and Sports Network. All right, so I've got a lot on my mind. I've got a lot to talk about today, and not all of it's big surprise. Not all of it's going to be about sports, but you know what? It's just stuff over the past week. First of all, I need to apologize. When I was touting Black Lion Entertainment and Sports Network, I told you that Sportswire was going to anchor. It was going to be a weekly show or daily show. I apologize for not being able to carry through with that. It's been a rough couple of weeks for me. I posted a post on Facebook last night. First of all, you can always follow Sportswire on Facebook, facebook.com/SportswireCT, as well as on Twitter, which is SWE Connecticut. And then YouTube is Sportswire SWE. I'm sorry, Facebook is facebook.com/SportswireCT. And I'm currently in the middle of working on the website. It's not working right now for some reason. We changed hosts, so it's no longer hosted with our own host. Moved it over to KBW Web, our new hosting company, and it's not working. And it's not KBW's fault, it's my fault. I got to go through and figure out what the heck happened to it. But anyways, we've got a lot to talk about today. I had a very big couple of weeks. On the 23rd of March, I had to go in for the surgery to get kidney stone removed. And actually blasted and removed. And it was quite painful, obviously, going as a guy. I would assume as any any human being. Going up the pee hole is not necessarily something that you want to feel. Of course, I was put to sleep for it, but again, it's just not something that is something that you want to feel. And then for them to leave a stent in the ureter, it was quite painful for a couple weeks. I got the stent taken out yesterday. It feels so good to pee normally. But last night I was talking with my good buddy Brian. He's one of my roommates. He's been on the show before, and he'll actually be starting his own podcast pretty soon, right here on BLESN. And we were talking about, the future. I'm 34 years old, and my history is well documented. And I've said it right here on the network that, yes, in Connecticut, I am a registered sex offender, been in prison, and it sucks because, there's things that I feel hinder, advancement, so to speak. But I'm going to turn that around. I am dedicated to turning that around. I'm always the kind of person that does stuff impulsively, whether it's in relationships, in work, in life. And it's one of those things where I need to kind of take a step back and look at the bigger picture. A couple months ago, I decided that I wanted to finally get my schooling finished. Well, I ended up getting enrolled in Full Sail University in Florida, where NXT films their shows, and WWE has their performance center on campus. And I wish that I heard about Full Sail years ago when I was first starting my schooling, and I could have just done it there, and what I'm about to say is not an issue. Wouldn't have been an issue. I found out through the financial aid people that my financial aid, the federal government puts a cap on your student loans that you could take out in order to receive your bachelor's degree. Well, because of so many stops and starts in my college education, I would end up hitting that cap during the second academic year of Full Sail. And now they're much more expensive because of the technologically advanced school that they are, and what they have. They're much more expensive than a lot of other schools. And I already have an associate's degree from Charter Oak State College right here in Connecticut. So I was faced with a very big decision. And originally I was going to drop from the bachelor's degree program to the associate's degree program, but then I thought about it. And my mother actually pointed out, you're wasting money, because what's the point of having a second associate's degree when you can't get a bachelor's degree because of the financial aid? So, and it made sense, perfect sense. So I made a decision. I made the hardest phone call of my life. Now, a lot of people, for them, the hardest phone call would be to break up with somebody or what have you, or telling somebody passed away or whatever. For me, this is the hardest phone call I ever had to make. I had to withdraw from Full Sail University. My reasoning being is this. I owe money to Charter Oak State College, which is why I couldn't continue there. I hit a rough patch and I just couldn't continue. Well, the fact of the matter is, it's a lot cheaper. And unfortunately, I have to think financially here as well. It's a lot cheaper for me to pay off Charter Oak what I owe them, finish my bachelor's with them since I'm less than 2 years away from it, because I think I already have 2 classes towards my bachelor's. So I'm going to finish my bachelor's in general studies, and then go on to Full Sail when the student loans open again for master's degrees, and get my master's in public relations from Full Sail. So I've still got a few years of schooling left, but I made the wisest decision that I could. Because you know what? It's not a really, it's not a good thing. I had to make it. I have to start thinking of my future in terms of what's going to be best for my son, and I, of course. And then with Desiree and I together and getting a lot closer and wanting to do things the right way, I have to make my decisions based on what's going to be best for us and our family in the future. And if I really want to get into a position and a job that I'm making enough money to support a family, I obviously need either a bachelor's or a master's degree. So there's no point in getting in a second associate's when it's not going to do jack for me anymore, for me. So I have to rethink my thought process now. And that's what it boils down to, is just kind of getting out of my impulsiveness and actually thinking something through. So this morning I made the phone call to Full Sail, spoke with a student liaison, and I basically explained the situation. And I told him, I said, it breaks my heart to have to do that. And he asked me if I wanted to stay enrolled until until the probation period, if you will. I forgot what he called it. Ended on April 22nd. And I said, you know what? No. Because I know that if I keep going, I'm going to fall in love with it, and I'll be going back and forth 30 times. So I need to make this decision now. And it's the best decision I made. Because now I could, over the next few months until September, I could pay off the money that I owe to Charter Oak, which is a lot cheaper, and then start in September to go for my bachelor's degree. And then after 2 years, I could go back to Full Sail for my master's degree. And that's what I need to do. So that's my plan for the future. And that's kind of sets up the theme of this show. There's going to be a lot of country music played today, quite honestly, because, well, not a lot. There's two country songs being played today. One rock song, one boy band pop song. It's been one of those days where the past couple days I been thinking a lot about future and going and figuring out the decisions I have to make that are going to be best for my future. But not only me. I can't think of it just about me. It's got to be about Desiree and her daughter and my son. Because if they're going to be my family moving forward, and then if we decide to have a child later on, I have to be in a position where I can protect them and take care of them. And living paycheck to paycheck at an entry-level position that makes minimum wage or a little higher is not the way to do it. So that's where I have to have my mindset. And for anybody out there who is in the similar mindset, I'm 34 years old, and because of everything that I've gone through in my life, because of the decisions I've made, it brought me up to this place where I have so much insecurity about our future and about my future that it forces me to sometimes get depressed and feel inadequate. And part of that inadequacy insecurity is doing things that are stupid and self-sabotaging myself. I thought by 34 years old I would be a lot further in life. I thought I would have a house. I thought I would be making a lot of money. I thought I would be married, having children, with children. But that's the unfortunate circumstance of making bad decisions. For those of you who are listening or may listen that are in high school, I highly recommend in your junior year start planning for college. You need college nowadays. And whatever your parents may say or whatever, okay, you need it. I took time off after school to work and everything because I wasn't ready. I didn't know what I wanted to do. Okay, I knew I wanted to get into the entertainment industry, but I didn't know exactly how to get there, and I was too lazy to ask questions on how to get into the industry that I wanted to be. Because growing up, I always wanted to be a WWE superstar. And unfortunately, it's like back then in the 90s when I was growing up, it wasn't they didn't have the NXT Performance or the WWE Performance Center in Full Sail. I mean, and still, you have to pay your dues and go to wrestling school and pay your dues in the indies and stuff. And I'm going to actually try to work on getting an interview coming up in the future with Ron Zombie. He's a local Connecticut indie wrestler. He's been in the NEW. You probably see him at just about every WWE event there is here in Connecticut, in the audience. But I want to talk to him and get an interview with him and kind of pick his brain, because he put up a post right after the Hall of Fame ceremony this past weekend, which we'll get into WrestleMania, NXT Dallas, and the Hall of Fame ceremony in a little bit. And he put up a post saying, in like 20 years, we're not, during the Hall of Fame ceremony, we're not going to have the legends or the inductees talk about their history and their journeys coming up in the industry of sports entertainment. And at that point, it was professional wrestling, and simply because the territory system is gone. Obviously, ever since Vince put everybody together and the cable networks came out, and even as late as after the Monday Night War, it's like there's only one place to go. TNA is not where it should be. Ring of Honor is a good alternative, but again, it's not where it should be. Japan is good. New Japan or whatever they have out in Japan, it's great. So they have theirs, but the WWE is where it's at. So chances are, in 20-some years, when a guy like, let's say, Baron Corbin or Kevin Owens is going into the Hall of Fame, they're going to be talking about, okay, maybe Ring of Honor and some of their indie work, but they're going to be talking about coming into the Performance Center, going to NXT, going to the WWE. Excuse me. Got to take a drink. I'm talking so much, my throat went dry. So, and it's true. So, if you're in high school now, or if you have high school kids and you're listening, definitely don't push them into college, but definitely get them to get the wheels turning of what they want to do. Because I'm telling you, taking time off after college is the worst possible decision you could ever make. I texted Desiree right before I came on to do the podcast, and it's simply because I've been thinking about my future, our future, and everything. And this is what I told her. And I'll read it live right here. I said, this is at 9:42 a.m. The last thing I told her was at like 7 o'clock, or 7 o'clock. Have a great day at work. I love you. And this is what I wrote at 9:42. I think that love letters and all that stuff is kind of gone passe, but I still like doing something romantic for my girl. And of course, texting is so instantaneous nowadays. I said, I just want to tell you I love you for no other reason than you being you. Desiree, you have my full heart and soul. I'm about to do a podcast, but I wanted to tell you that first because I can't go more than a few hours without telling you how amazing you are. I love you so much, Desiree Tobias. And then, the little emoticons afterwards. And she replied, oh, thank you, baby. I love you too. And I'm constantly trying to figure out different ways of making her happy. We don't live together. She lives with her parents. I live, obviously, with roommates. And it's obviously tough to have privacy. But you know what? It's a building. It's to rebuild our relationship. I mean, after the very public breakup we had back in July, and I took my share of, I took the blame for that because I was stupid and my insecurities were acting up. Now that I have insecurities, now that I'm feeling a lot better, and we're at a much better place, I'm being more honest with her about my insecurities to kind of keep myself accountable. And that's quite honestly where it needs to be. If you're in a truly loving relationship that you want to last, honesty is the best. I trust her with my heart, and I want to tell her every single day and let her know, and not necessarily tell her, but let her know by my actions that she can trust me with her heart every single day. And that's what it comes down to. So, like I said, I was thinking a lot about the future, and the ringtone I chose for her is 98 Degrees song. And I actually made a video of myself singing it to her and sent it to her a week or so ago. And it's just little things like that to make your girlfriend know that you love her. Whether it's a cute text in the middle of the day, just saying, I'm thinking about you, or I love you, or, it's a song that you sing, or whatever. It's truly to make your girlfriend happy. That's the most important thing ever. So, without further ado, playing right now on the Sportswire here on Black Lion Entertainment and Sports Network, here's 98 Degrees with I Do Cherish You.
I do, I do, I do, I do. Yeah, all I'll be, everything in this world, all that I'll ever need is in your eyes, shining at me. When you smile, I can feel all my passion unfolding. Your hand versus mine, and the thousand sensations seduce me, 'cause I do cherish you for the rest of my life. You don't have to think twice. I will love you still from the depths of my soul. It's beyond my control. I waited so long to say this to you. If you're asking, do I love you this much? Well, I do. Oh, baby. In my world, before you, lived outside my emotions, didn't know where I was going, till that day I found you. How you opened my life to a new paradise, in a world torn by change, still with all my heart, till my dying day. I do cherish you for the rest of my life. You don't have to think twice. I will love you still from the depths of my soul. It's beyond my control. I've waited so long to say this to you. If you're asking, do I love you this much? Yes, I do. I do. If you're asking, do I love you this much? Baby, I do. Cherish you from the depths of my soul. It's beyond my control. I've waited so long to say this to you. If you're asking, do I love you this much? Well, baby, I do. I
All right, and that was 98 Degrees with I Do Cherish You right here on the Sportswire. Yeah, don't get yourself fooled if you're tuning in for the first time. The Sportswire is not just about sports. I talk about sports, I talk about sports entertainment, I talk about entertainment, politics, religion, life, just about anything under the sun that you could think of, I talk about it. Because life is not always about sports. Quite honestly, it's not. And, I know, this is Blackline Entertainment and Sports Network. That's why we have the entertainment in there. But anyways, so we're getting, we are a week removed, less than a week removed from WWE WrestleMania 32 from Dallas this past Sunday. This past weekend was absolutely fantastic. For those of you that missed it, definitely check it out on the WWE Network. It is on demand, only $9.99 a month. Quite honestly, it was, it actually surpassed what a lot of people thought what it was gonna be. Everybody thought that it was gonna be such a letdown because of the injuries and the storylines that have been written, and that it was a fantastic show. Everybody put on a great show. A couple of endings were kind of questionable, but for the most part, it was a great show. Let's start with Friday night, WWE NXT Dallas. And I'm telling you right now, NXT Dallas, or NXT in general, is the absolute best brand in sports entertainment. It's better than Raw and SmackDown, quite honestly. Triple H is doing such a great job with NXT. He's got the great superstars that are in there. He's got the women wrestling is phenomenal. And I question the WWE. Well, no, I shouldn't. I applaud the WWE for recognizing what they have now compared to what they had, just even a few years ago. With the influx of real women's wrestlers, meaning Charlotte, Sasha Banks, Bayley, Becky Lynch, Asuka, Nia Jax, you have a fantastic ability to have women's wrestling become prominent again. Back in the Attitude Era, you had Lita, you had Trish, you had this year's Hall of Famer Jackie, you had Jazz, you had women wrestlers, Molly Holly, Victoria, Alundra Blaze was pre-Attitude Era, but as Medusa in WCW. You didn't have the Divas. And quite honestly, the Divas are what ruined the WWE's women's division. When they changed from the Women's Championship to the Divas Championship, that is when the women's division died. But we have a resurrection. Like Christ himself, the women's wrestling division in the WWE has been resurrected. More on that in just a little bit. So, like I said, let's start with NXT Dallas. Probably the best match of the night was Shinsuke Nakamura. He faced Sami Zayn in his debut. It was great. Austin Aries defeated Baron Corbin in his debut for NXT. Let's see. We also had American Alpha, Jason Jordan and Gable. I can't remember Gable's first name. Anyways, they ended up winning the NXT Tag Team Championship from. I'm drawing a blank now. Let me get into the. Let me go find the NXT. Let me go get the NXT results. Right. Yeah, we'll get there. I'm not perfect. I have to find the stuff on the internet myself as well from time to time. But I will say that the NXT event in Dallas, from top to bottom, was much better than anything else that was booked. All right, so let's see. Great. Okay. Chad Gable. That's his name. Yeah, Chad Gable. Not, I was going to say Clark Gable. But no, it's Chad Gable. Chad Gable. And Jason Jordan. Also known as American Alpha. We also, before we even do anything else, we also have some sad news to report from the WWE universe. WWE Hall of Famer Blackjack Mulligan passed away yesterday. And he's the father of Mike Rotundo, also known as Erwin R. Shyster, IRS. Also, the grandfather of Bo Dallas and Bray Wyatt. So our thoughts and prayers are with the Wyndham family at this time, during this somber moment in time. So we'll give them a moment of silence while I find the results. There we go. Take over Dallas. All right. So like I said, our thoughts and prayers are with the Wyndham family at this time. So, oh, that's the wrong thing. We also have some breaking news from WWE and NXT as well. And that is former TNA World Champion Bobby Roode has signed with the WWE and will be starting in the next month or so. Simply because, you know, the only reason why he gets some time off, because technically tag team champions with James Storm. And because TNA taped so many in advance, he still has time on TV time left with TNA, so they have to wait for that to run out. But, you know, while I'm waiting to get the NXT Dallas results, TakeOver Dallas results, I will tell you this. The WWE has the perfect opportunity to just not only have they already monopolized the industry, but do you realize that they could actually just that's something I have to read. They could offer TNA a time slot on WWE Network. Ring of Honor too, you know, capitalize on it. I think that would be fantastic. Really, honestly. Because I think it would be great. You know, TNA could make money. They could do the brand extension. He doesn't have to have any kind of plan, any kind of creative investment, only financial, to put it on the network. And I think that would be great. Do you realize how big the numbers for the WWE would be for the WWE Network? Just absolutely crazy. I'm still trying to find NXT Dallas. I have to go back quite a bit. I will say that the opening match was the American Alpha match, winning the titles. And we're almost there. Almost. I will say that, you know, some people are bad-mouthing WrestleMania because of, you know, the lackluster build-up to it. And, you know, the WWE gave away WrestleMania for free to new subscribers on the network when, you know, normally you pay like $70 for that pay-per-view. So it's, you know, it's amazing. But come on, take over Dallas. Let's go. We're almost there. Bayley lost the women's championship to Asuka. That was a fantastic women's match. It went back and forth. Asuka is just way too tough. But I have a feeling Bayley's going to be moved to the main roster very, very soon. Finn Balor ended up taking a very, very hard victory over Samoa Joe in the main event of TakeOver Dallas. But I will say this. The original plan called for Samoa Joe to win the NXT Championship from Finn Balor. And it was only like that afternoon that it was changed. So it leads us to believe that Samoa Joe is going to get the push. He's going to get the push to the main roster, which is obviously a possibility. Samoa Joe being in NXT for a year, and it's time for him to move up to the main roster, because I could seriously see a great feud between Samoa Joe and Roman Reigns, or Samoa Joe and Chris Jericho, or Samoa Joe and Kevin Owens, which would be fantastic too. We're almost there. I have to go. Sorry, I have to go. He's back in the. Almost there. NXT Dallas TakeOver Dallas was absolutely fantastic. If you haven't experienced NXT yet, I highly recommend you do. Because, quite honestly, it would behoove you to miss it, because NXT is the up and it's got that indie feel with the WWE production behind it. Doo. There we almost. Okay, we're actually got to go one more page back. Okay, so we're almost there. While I'm getting to it, I really do implore you to watch NXT. Here we go. Nope, that was taping. Come on. That was for the Hall of Fame. Okay, so we have to go back one more day. Yeah, it's crazy. I will tell you, the Hall of Fame ceremony itself, Sting officially announced his retirement from sports entertainment. But he also said that doesn't mean goodbye, it'll mean see you later. He has been vocal saying that before he truly retires, he wants to face The Undertaker. With The Undertaker defeating Shane McMahon, The Undertaker will be around. I've also heard rumors that The Undertaker has retired as well. I won't necessarily believe that until I officially hear it. So, with that said, I think we're at the place. No, not true. Asuka defeated Bayley. This was, like I said, Asuka defeated Bayley with her, for the women's championship. Bayley just had nowhere to go. She was overmatched by Asuka for the entire time. Apollo Crews fought Elias Sampson on this past week's episode of NXT. Here we go. TakeOver Dallas results. Finally. Yeehaw. Oh, come on. There we go. Alright. I think we're finally here. Thank you very much after 15 minutes of trying to cover myself. That's what happens when you go with the internet. Honestly, it does. So once the wording pops up, here we go. NXT TakeOver. American Alpha versus The Revival. Like I said, the American Alpha, Chad Gable, Dawson, The Revival is Dash and Dawson, and American Alpha is Gable and Jordan and Gable. And obviously, like I said, Jordan and Gable won the tag titles. And you know what? If they wanted to bring Kurt Angle in, I could see Jordan and Gable as the new Team Angle. Absolutely. They have the character, but they also have the wrestling moves themselves. So, with that said, I really like American Alpha, and they could definitely be the next Team Angle. And that was the first match. It was a high. NXT always puts on the absolute best matches. I cannot praise NXT enough. Next match was Baron Corbin versus Austin Aries. Austin Aries won his debut match in NXT over the Lone Wolf. But Baron Corbin's weekend got a lot better, and I'll get to that in just a minute. Next up was Sami Zayn versus Shinsuke Nakamura, and Nakamura ended up winning. Sami Zayn had some words to say after the match, saying that he was sore and beat up. But either way, it was a great match. Nakamura being one of the better talents brought over from New Japan. He actually came over with AJ Styles and the rest of the, I think they're going to be called the Balor Club or Bulletproof. Either way, they're going to be reformed in WWE. Next was versus Asuka, as I said, and Asuka ended up beating Bayley in what was a very hard for a match. It just goes to show you that Asuka is one tough girl. She has all the tools to become a legend in the industry. That's when after that was when Bobby Roode was shown in the crowd because he was in the crowd and they wanted to show that he got signed. All right, and then Balor versus Samoa Joe. Okay, so I actually told you the results without even needing the results pages because there were only 4 matches. The Elias Sampson and Apollo Crews match was actually supposed to take place on the card, but it got moved to the to this past week's show. It was filmed in Dallas, but it was pushed to this past week. So I kind of gave you the results anyways without even needing the page. But I will say that going into Saturday into the Hall of Fame ceremony, great lineup, great lineup. Even Snoop Dogg had a fantastic speech. Going in, Snoop Dogg was a celebrity inducted into the celebrity wing of the Hall of Fame. Joe London received the Warrior Award for her fight against breast cancer, a very public fight against breast cancer. So she was this year's recipient of the Warrior Award. Then we had Stan Hansen, the Lariat. He finally got in the Hall of Fame. The Godfather went into the Hall of Fame as the Godfather, not Papa Shango, so don't worry. Michael P.S. Hayes and the Fabulous Freebirds are finally Hall of Famers. They have finally gone in, and quite honestly, Vince gave them as much creative freedom as they wanted. They came out to Freebird, they sang Bad Street USA, they gave them all the time they wanted to. They brought in Terry Gordy's son, because Terry Gordy obviously passed away, and I can't remember the other guy's name. Boy. Obviously Jimmy Garvin was there, Jimmy Jam Garvin, Michael P.S. Hayes, Terry Bam Bam Gordy, and Buddy, Buddy, wasn't Buddy Rogers. I can't remember his name. It's escaping me. But his son was there as well. And they gave great odes to their dads. Kevin Von Erich came out on Sports Entertainment. I guess the match with Seth Rollins really took that big of a hit on him. He's been going through treatments for it. He didn't really need surgery, which is a good thing. Then, you know what? Before we get into WrestleMania, let's go to our next song. It's going to be a song by Creed. Okay? It's with Arms Wide Open, right here on the Sportswire.
Well, I just heard the news today. It seems my life is gonna change. I close my eyes, begin to pray, then tears of joy stream down my face with arms wide open. Welcome to this place, I'll show you everything with arms wide open. With arms wide open. Well, I don't know if I'm ready to be the man I have to be. I'll take a breath, I'll take her by my side. We're standing on, we created life with arms wide open. Under the sunlight, welcome to this place, I'll show you everything with arms wide open. Now everything has changed. I'll show you now. I'll show you everything with arms wide open. With arms wide open. I'll show you everything. Oh yeah. With arms wide open. Wide open. If I had just one wish, only one demand, I hope he's not like me. I hope he understands that he can take this life and hold it by the hand, and he can reach the world with arms wide open, with arms wide open. Under the sunlight, welcome to this place, I'll show you everything with arms wide open. Now everything has changed, I'll show you now. I'll show you everything with arms wide open. With arms wide open. I'll show you everything. Oh yeah. With arms wide open. Wide open.
All right, and that was Creed with Arms Wide Open, right here on the Sportswire, right here on Blackline Entertainment and Sports Network. So we're actually already just about an hour in. Of course, most of the time was looking. I don't understand why that song does that at the end, but obviously you look at a lot of the time was used me looking for the results of NXT Dallas. I didn't even have to look for, but anyways, going into Sunday's big event, it was actually a 7-hour event on Sunday, WrestleMania 32, live from AT&T Stadium in Dallas. Started at 5 o'clock in the afternoon with the pre-show. Okay? You had the Dudley Boys take on the Usos. And I don't understand why that was on the pre-show. Would have been a better match on the actual show, but the Dudley Boys, the Usos ended up winning that match. And then you had Kalisto defending the United States title again, which should have been on the main show. He defended the U.S. title against Ryback, and Kalisto squeaked out the victory over the big guy. And then you had a worthless 10-female tag match. It was the Total Divas, which were Brie Bella, Summer Rae. No, wait a minute. Summer Rae was not on that show, on that team. Brie Bella, Paige, Natalia, Brie Bella, Paige, Natalia, Alicia Fox, and Eva Marie against Summer Rae, Lana, Emma, Tamina, and Naomi against Team Bad and Blonde. It was worthless. The Total Divas won. It was one of those. See, quite honestly, in that match, Paige is probably the only female that I could ever say is a female wrestler, is a woman wrestler in that whole match. Emma is getting there, but she's not there yet. Summer Rae is a valet. Lana is a valet. Naomi, she's a cheerleader, she's a funkadactyl, but she's getting better. Tamina is a women's wrestler. Okay? Then you look at the Total Divas side. Natalia is a women's wrestler. Brie Bella sucks. She retired. Good riddance. Her and her husband can go off. We don't need them. Paige obviously is a wrestler.